This is the Unit 4 Constructed Response Remediation video. So you'll watch this video and then retake or fix the Unit 4B CR for a higher score. Directions. Read the passage, then write a response to the prompt. Your response should be written in complete sentences and organized into a paragraph. Type your paragraph in the document and then copy and paste it into the text box for the last question in the Linkit test. And don't forget to proofread and edit your work. So for the Unit 4B constructed response, passage is excerpt from The Poison Tree, A Tale of Hindu Life in Bengal by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee. And here is the text read aloud link. Our prompt, as we learned in this unit, an author's culture can affect their writing. Analyze how Bankim Chandra Chatterjee's choices concerning the structure of the text, the order of events, and the manipulation of time impacts the excerpt from The Poison Tree, A Tale of Hindu Life in Bengal. Consider how the author introduces characters, reveals background information, and builds the narrative. Use specific examples from the text to support your analysis. So here's the story summary. In The Poison Tree, A Tale of Hindu Life in Bengal by Bankim Chandra Chatterjee, Nagendra, a wealthy landowner, seeks shelter during a storm and discovers Kunda Nandini, a 13-year-old girl, and her dying father in a dilapidated house. Unable to find Kundra's aunt in Calcutta, he writes to his wife, Surjamukhi, for help. Surjamukhi expresses her desire to arrange a marriage between Kunda and Tarasharan, a boy raised by her family after his mother abandoned him. She insists that Kunda should be brought back with Nagendra, highlighting the societal norms and expectations of marriage during the late 19th century Hindu life in Bengal, which is rooted in the caste system. As preparations for the marriage begin, it becomes evident that both families agree to the union, showcasing the intertwined fates of the characters amidst the cultural context of their time. And here is a story analysis. So the themes of the story are: women must be treasured and protected. Family and reputation must be protected at all cost. When she learns about the orphaned girl, Suryamukhi's reaction is to get her married as soon as possible. The omniscient point of view describes the history of the characters and their thoughts and actions. This enables readers to understand the family unit and the complex factors that influence the characters' choices. Taracharan has no women in his home, so he is interested in women's rights. He has liberal views since it doesn't directly affect him. The information about the characters and their families reflects culture. The focus on class emphasizes the importance of societal hierarchy in Indian culture. In Indian society, a well-educated person is important and valued. Surja's culture affect the way she approaches Tara's marriage. Since societal class is important, Surja is determined to find Tara a respectable wife of the same class. Surja's responsibility for finding Tara a good wife is something she takes very seriously. She will not give consent until she finds a good match. So here are some notes. The concepts of the CR. An author's culture can affect their writing. Analyze how an author's choices concerning how to structure a text, order events within it, and manipulate time creates an effect. So you want to focus your response on explaining how the author's choices about the structure of the text, the order of events, and the manipulation of time impacts the story. You want to look for specific author's choices of text structure, events order, and time manipulation in the passage. Examine how those choices affect themes, character motivations, and events. Take notes on the author's choices like flashbacks or foreshadowing, which is manipulation of time, right? Flashbacks or foreshadowing, and their effects on the reader's understanding of the story. This will encourage deeper thinking about the reasons behind an author's structural decisions and how these choices can influence the reader's experience of the narrative. So think about, how did the author introduce characters, reveal background information, and build the text? So how did the author organize the text? Did they use flashbacks or foreshadowing? Did they do chronological order or events out of order? Author's choices like using literary elements or purposely organizing a text in one way or another is really what you're talking about here. So here are some CR writing and analysis strategies. Be sure to mention the topic of the prompt in your paragraph. So you want to mention author's choices, and you want to make sure you mention the wording text structure, order of events, and manipulation of time. You want to give specific examples or direct quotes from the text to prove your answer. Make sure all text from the passage has quotation marks around it to show that it is from the story. And you want to make sure to proofread and edit your work before you submit it for grading. Check and fix all spelling, grammar, punctuation, and capitalization mistakes. So that's just general CR writing and specific CR writing for this assignment. Here are some analysis strategies for this text. Story mapping. Create a story map of the passage, focusing specifically on the structure, the order of events, and the manipulation of time. This visual representation will help you conceptually grasp how the structure of the text, how it is organized, and how the narrative is built influences the story or the narrative. And then timeline. Create a visual timeline of key events from the passage, marking when each event occurs. You should include any flashbacks and discuss how these author choices impact the story's pacing and tension. By engaging with the timeline of the story, you will better understand how the manipulation of time shapes your understanding of the plot and character development. So here's the CR checklist, and it follows the writing process: planning, drafting, revising, proofreading and editing, and publishing. So the question or prompt has been read. The passage is reviewed at least twice using close reading strategies. An answer for the question or prompt is located or inferred. Textual evidence is found and noted. The question or prompt topic is mentioned in the opening sentence. The answer to the question is correct. The textual evidence is direct quotes or examples from the passage. Quotation marks are used to show what text is from the passage. The textual evidence relates to the question or prompt and provides support for the answer. An explanation is given to provide more details to the answer or describe how the textual evidence proves the given answer. The paragraph includes a concluding sentence. The written response is a complete analysis, not a summary of the passage. Transitions are used between quotes and ideas. The response is written from an objective third-person point of view. All thoughts are written in complete sentences and organized into paragraph form. Writing mechanics have been proofread and edited. There are few to no mistakes in grammar, spelling, punctuation, and capitalization. The correct document is uploaded in the correct assignment folder in the correct online course, or the written paragraph is submitted into the correct test in the linked program. The assignment is turned in on time by the due date, and after the assignment is graded, feedback is read and work is fixed and resubmitted if needed. Here's the CR graphic organizer. We have 4 types of sentences. Introduction sentences state the topic of the prompt and answer the question. This should be in your own words. A sentence starter for that, the author's choices of the text structure, the order of events, and the manipulation of time impacts the story by. Next, you want to give textual support, provide evidence with 1 or 2 quotes from the story, put quotation marks around all text from the story. Sentence starters, the text says, the author states, the passage exclaims. Next, we have explanation sentences. Explain how your textual support relates to your answer and describe your answer in more detail. This should be in your own words. Sentence starters, this shows, this is because, this means. And finally, we have conclusion sentences. Give a summary of your answer. You can also give a final thought about the topic of the prompt. This should be in your own words. Sentence starters, in conclusion, overall, ultimately. Now we're going to look at the difference between an exemplary response and a non-exemplary response. So something that would get an A versus something that would get either a D or F. So an exemplary response, example, in The Poison Tree, A Tale of Hindu Life in Bengal, Bankim Chandra Chatterjee skillfully uses the structure of the text to deepen the emotional impact of the story. The narrative starts by slowly introducing the characters, helping readers grasp their motivations and relationships. For instance, the main character's inner struggle is revealed through flashbacks that give background about his cultural values and family expectations. By using these flashbacks, Chatterjee builds tension as readers start to anticipate what will happen because of the protagonist's choices. The sequence of events is carefully organized, leading to a climax that is both powerful and reflective of the cultural details found in Bengali society. This structure not only engages the audience, but also shows how culture is closely connected to the characters' lives and decisions. Now, I would probably give this a B because it doesn't give, in my opinion, it doesn't give enough detail from the story itself. But it is a good response. It's not a perfect response, but it is a good response. So why this is exemplary? This response meets the criteria for success by providing specific examples from the text to support the analysis of the author's choices regarding structure, order of events, and manipulation of time. It effectively connects these choices to the cultural context, demonstrating a comprehensive understanding of the prompt. So it does do that. Again, I would have liked a little bit more specific examples and details from the actual story, but it is definitely a passing grade, an A or a B. So then here is a non-exemplary response. In The Poison Tree, the author talks about different characters and their lives. The story has some events that happen, but it is not really clear how they relate to each other. The author uses some flashbacks, but they don't really help the story much. I think the characters are interesting and the setting is cool, but I didn't notice how the order of events affect the story that much. Overall, it seems like a regular story about life in Bengal. So why this is non-exemplary? This response does not meet the criteria for success because it lacks specific examples from the text to support the analysis. It fails to adequately address how the character's choices regarding structure and manipulation of time impact the narrative, resulting in a superficial understanding of the text. So it does mention flashbacks, but it doesn't really describe how those flashbacks impact the story. And that's really it. That's really all that's being said here. It doesn't really do anything else that we are looking for from the prompt. So it's just a little too vague. Doesn't have enough talk about author's choices. It doesn't mention or describe the structure of the text. It doesn't explain the manipulation of time effectively, and it doesn't give specific examples from the passage. Okay, so now fix or rewrite your Unit 4 CR and submit that for a higher grade.